Okay. Yeah, for source code and management, source code and version, code management and version control, we have studied Git and GitHub. Okay, so we had the concept of local repository and remote repository. Okay, so when a developer does his job or completes his job, he commits his code to GitHub, that is a remote repository. Okay, and then we saw Jenkins. So Jenkins, we saw that it is the heart of CI/CD, where uh, it integrates all the tools, all the phases of DevOps. Like it integrates various tools that we use for various purposes. So in our case, when the developer used to commit a code, Jenkins used to get a notification that the developer has committed something. We created a webhook for that. Okay, and when the Jenkins gets this notification, it fetches the code from GitHub and keeps it in his workspace, in Jenkins workspace for that particular job. Okay, and there, and then we studied Maven. So using Maven, the code is built, code is compiled, and a artifact is generated. Okay, and uh, and then we study Nexus. So when that artifact is generated, we store it in a repository, artifactory. So that is called Nexus. So there are various tools available for everything in the market, for every phase. But for Artifactory, we have used Nexus. So there are other tools like JFrog, Artifactory. There are other tools available in the market.
Hello, are you sharing in screen? We can't see.
No, not yet, not yet. I'm just giving a
Ah.
quick revision. I'll share it. Okay, so yeah, and then yesterday we studied SonarQube. So we saw that when a developer writes a code, he can write it in different languages. He can write it in Python, he can write it in Java, he can write it in Node.js, he can write it in any XYZ language. Okay, so there are some quality standards people have set for every coding language. Okay, so when a developer writes a code, the code should adhere to some quality, right? It should be a quality code. So that's why we use SonarQube. So when so we integrated SonarQube as well with Jenkins. We can integrate SonarQube as well with the Jenkins. So when a user uh, commits any code, his code is properly scanned. Okay, his code is properly scanned for any vulnerabilities or any for all the quality checks. His code is being scanned. Okay, and if there are some quality issues in his code, that the pipeline would fail. Okay, it would not proceed ahead. Okay, so this is why we use SonarQube. SonarQube is used for static code quality check. Okay, so installed SonarQube and we configured it, and we saw that in pom.xml we used to have in our pom.xml we used to have certain thing, a plugin, Maven scanner, Maven sonar Maven scanner plugin. Okay, using that plugin, the code used to this SonarQube used to scan that particular code, and all the analysis reports are, we can check that all the analysis reports in the SonarQube terminal. Okay, this is what we saw today, that we saw till yesterday. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so this is how our SonarQube screen looks like. So we ran a build. So we ran a quality code analysis for a particular code, and see, for that particular code, it ran all the things, like it does not have any bugs, it does not have any vulnerabilities. Okay, everything, it gives you the detail of all those quality checks. Okay, then we saw about, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see it now.
So in rules section, we could in issue section, okay, let's go with the issue section. In issue section, we can identify what are the issues in our code, okay, and SonarQube will give a suggestion like replace this use of system dot by logger, and like all these various kind of issues your this use in SonarQube you can see for your particular project, okay. So and then we saw the rules. So here based on all the languages you have a set of standard rules. For Java you have some set of rules, for Python you have some set of rules, for PHP you have some set of rules. So for every language you have a lot of rules defined, okay, and SonarQube will evaluate your code based on these rules only, okay, based on these rules only. And it's up to you to decide which rule is critical for your project and which rule is not critical for your project. If that rule is critical for your project, so in that rule you can specify blocker, you can specify major, something like this. So that will go in the major, like so if that happens, if that rule is not getting fulfilled, then your project will report, SonarQube will report that there is a major issue in your project, okay. Then we created then we saw quality profiles. In quality profiles we already have a set of profiles. For example, for every language you will see, for Java, JSP, HTML, Go, Flex, PHP, Python, for every language you will see a profile created, okay. Profile is nothing but a combination of various rules, okay. For example, by default there is a SonarWay profile in for Java, okay. If our code is Java, if we have a Java code in our repo, so if we use this profile, so our code will be evaluated based on these 452 rules, okay. And we had options to create our own profile, okay. We could add or remove some rules from it based on which rules are important for us, okay. Or we can extend the profile. For example, we can copy this profile and add some more rules to that profile. So we did that as well yesterday, okay. Then this was a profile. Then we saw quality gates. So in quality gates what we saw, quality gate is nothing but a, it's like a gate, like it's a standard, you can say it's a standard that you are setting a standard specific to your project, okay. You can set a standard specific to your project. If your project fulfills that standard, then your pipeline, then you will say that it is a success, okay. Then you can say that it is a sonar that your code analysis is successful, okay. That your code is fulfilling that standard. If any of those things are not, if any of those things in that standard which you have set is not fulfilled, then you will say that your code is not up to the standard, okay. So that is why we have a quality gate. So quality gate can have multiple matrices. For example, the by default quality gate that we have, SonarWay, that used to have coverage, duplicate lines, maintainability rating. So these are all the matrices associated with your project. So you have defined that you have set a standard, okay. You have set a bench line that, okay, coverage is less than 80%, duplicated line is greater than 3%. So if it does not, if it fulfills these criteria, then what happens? Then your pipeline would fail, okay. So we created a quality gate as well. So this random quality gate that we created, customized quality gate. So we can add multiple conditions to that gate, okay. So we saw that yesterday. So we could add a condition on the overall code, okay, which would be, we can talk about unit test errors, let's say. So uh, uh, quality gate, it's written how you want to read it, how you can read it. It's very well written there. Quality gate fails when unit test error is greater than 5. So if I specify this, if I add this condition to go to the quality gate, and if after SonarQube does an analysis, okay, and unit test errors, and SonarQube sees if SonarQube sees that the unit test errors are greater than 5, okay, then quality gate will fail. Okay, and if quality gate will fail, then this means your code is not up to the standard. So it is totally customizable. It's not like it is a standard that uh, the standards are not universal. Okay, it depends on your it can depend on project to project. For your project, you can specify that unit test errors or uh, test cases success. Let's say unit test success percent. Okay, in your case, uh, you can add a condition if quality gate fails when unit test success percent is less than, let's say, 80%. Okay, so your SonarQube will do the analysis of the code. Then if your unit test success percent is less than 80, your quality gate will fail. Okay, so it is not a standard that 80% is a standard value. Your project, it can be 50% for your project, it can be 10% for your project. Okay, so everything is, all the conditions here are customizable. Got it? Sure. Did you get a few things, like a bit the hint about the these about this?
Yeah. Sorry.
You
Yeah.
you
I
got
was
the
on
purpose
mute.
of SonarQube, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now today we'll see everything integrated. GitHub, Jenkins, SonarQube, everything we'll see integrated. Okay. Okay. So a question for you. You guys have studied cloud formation, right? So infrastructure as a code, why do we need it? What is the need for infrastructure as a code?
You can automate. Can
And?
automate things. Yeah.
And another reason? Hello, are you there?
Yeah, the downtime is also less, so it's easier to rebuild.
Okay, any other reason?
As Prakash said, it's cheaper. It's much more easier than standalone systems, which used to take a lot of time. Automation.
Yes, that can be covered in automation. But yeah, another important factor for infrastructure as a code is that you are writing everything as a code, and that can be version controlled.
Oh, okay.
Correct. You have a CloudFormation template. Correct. You create a CloudFormation template. That is a YML file. If you are storing it in Git, that means it is version controlled, right? You are storing in a repository, it is version controlled. For example, in another way, like you are not using a CloudFormation, let's say you are doing everything manually on the console. So the first issue you will face is the issue for automation. Like you have to do everything manually. Okay, that will be issue number one. Another issue will be that, let's say, if I do any configuration, if I do any create any resource, or edit any resource, and next day someone else comes in. Okay, how will he come to know that which resource I have changed? There is no way, right? All the resource customizations that I'm doing, so no one can know. No one will be able to know after a month if I want to check, like what was the change in this particular resource that I did, which parameter did I modify, which what are the things that I did. There was not a way to track it. So infrastructure is you can track it with Cloud Trail and those things, obviously. But yeah, cloud formation gives you a benefit that everything is written as a code and it can be version controlled. You can store the cloud formation template in your repo, okay, and whatever changes you are going to make to the resources, you can directly make the change to the cloud formation template, okay. And whenever you are going to create an environment, it will pick up the latest cloud formation template from your repo, okay, and it will create a stack using that cloud formation template. Again, for few days, let's say you are modifying multiple resources, okay, and after 2-3 months you want to check what was the resource I modified in cloud. You can always track the version of that cloud formation template, right, if you have that in a code. So that is another advantage of using a cloud formation, using a infrastructure as a code. Got it? Got it? I'm audible, right? I'm audible, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you got it?
Yes.
So yeah, same thing is with the pipelines. Okay, same thing is with this. Yeah, same thing happens with the Jenkins. So we have this, we created a Jenkins project. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So we created jobs, right? We created a Git job, and these jobs we created. So if we go to configure, we can edit so many things there, right? We can have various things to edit it. We can edit the description. We can edit the repository. We can edit our credentials. Okay, and we can edit all these. There are so many customizations we can do. Okay, so we can edit this our shell script command. Okay, so there are many things we can do. So again, if we are doing it from here, no one can track it. Correct. What I'm doing, what are the changes? If in this job I did something, did some change, and 1 month later, someone else comes in, he wants to check what are the changes that I did in the previous, what was the change 1 month earlier. There is no way he can track it.
Yeah.
Correct. Only with he will check he will see the latest thing. What is there at after a month? He will see only those things. Okay. So that is why we have a concept of pipeline as a code. Okay. I'll tell you what is a pipeline. So pipeline is nothing but collection of jobs, like collection of tasks, you can say. In our case, for example, in our case, what we are doing, we are what is the flow? First, when a user is committing his code to Jenkins, when he's committing his code to GitHub, what happens? What is Jenkins doing? Jenkins is cloning the code in its repo, in its workspace. So we saw the Jenkins workspace, right? It was in /var/lib/Jenkins. And inside that, we used to have workspace, and in that workspace, we used to have all the projects, like all the projects that we have created. There will be separate folders for everything, and in that particular folder, it will clone that particular repository. Okay, we saw that. So, so what are the steps involved? So step number one, Jenkins pulls all the code from GitHub. Okay. Step number two, when that code is pulled, we want to do we want to build it. Okay, we studied Maven for it, Maven for building it. Okay, we build the code. Step number three, we are doing code quality checks using SonarQube. Okay, and before step number three, you can always store your artifacts into Nexus. Okay, that is also a step. Okay, then after that, after code quality analysis, step number four would be to deploy. Okay, let's say all these steps. So these are all the steps. So you can write these steps as a code. Okay, so this is a pipeline, correct? Having one step after another, this becomes a pipeline. Okay, what is a pipeline? Like when, let's say, you can assume, you can take an example of when a car is getting ready. Okay, in any car manufacturing company, how is a car manufactured? Okay, there they have a pipeline, correct? First they will get ready, the engine will will be made, then chassis will be made. Okay, then they will integrate it, then they will paint it, then they will do some quality checks if the car is running properly or not, and then they would send it to showroom, correct? So this is a pipeline. So similarly, for our software development lifecycle also, we go through the pipeline. So pipeline consists of all the tasks that we do, okay, in order to release a software, starting from when a developer commits a code till the till that particular code is deployed on production. Okay, so all these are tasks. Okay, we call them stages as well. Okay, this can be called stages as well. Okay, so our stage will be git stage. You can name the stage whatever you want. Git stage, then it will be build stage, then it will be sonar stage, like code quality stage. Okay, then it will be deploy stage. Okay, so these are stages. Okay, so you can write all these stages as a code. Okay, so that is called infrastructure as a, it is called pipeline as a code. Okay, so this thing we called as pipeline as a code. Got it? Clear? Prakash, Shah?
Yeah.
Okay, just keep on saying yes sometimes so that I
Yeah, because I'll be on mute, right? The
okay,
thing is
okay,
that it does not unmute.
yeah, sometimes just unmute, and
Otherwise,
so
yeah,
that I know that,
lot of.
yeah, so that I know that I do not I'm still connected, because sometimes my Wi-Fi is getting disconnected and I might be out of sync. Okay, so this was pipeline as a code.
Yeah.
Okay, then what uh, so yeah, what we saw, we created some freestyle projects, correct? When we were doing those stuff, how we used to create a project, we used to go to new items. Okay, then we would do my project, for example. Let's say uh, today, next Sunday project, whatever we want to name. Okay, and we used to create a freestyle project, correct? Freestyle is a very popular type of project. We till now we have studied freestyle project only, and in the freestyle project we used to see all the configurations that we want to do. Okay, the description, you can type whatever you want in the description. Then what is the source code management? It will be git. Okay, it will be git. There you specify your repository. Okay, and then you specify the credentials. Okay, this will be your git stage. Okay, and then after that you can add multiple stages here. Okay, so this was a stage which is responsible for pulling the code, correct? This is the git stage here, source code management stage. Okay, this is our first step what we talk about, where our code is being pulled by the where a code stored in the repository that we are provided is pulled by the Jenkins and stored in Jenkins workspace. Okay, this is the first step. Then other steps you can specify here. These are build step. Again, next step would be the build, correct? So in build step, you can specify. You can specify Maven, let's say, top level Maven targets. Okay, we saw this earlier. We created a main project as well. So this is my second stage. Here I can configure all the things regarding Maven, my pom.xml, or the goals like clean, package, or clean, deploy, or whatever, that thing I can specify. So when it goes to this stage, it will build your code. Okay, then you can add another build step. What will be the another build step? You, after the code is built, your artifact has to be stored in Nexus, correct? So you have this Nexus steps here. Okay, you have Nexus steps here. You can add any Nexus steps. Okay, for example, this was Nexus step. We are not doing it anything, but yeah, I'm just showing that in a single freestyle project also you can configure all those things. That means in a single freestyle project that we created, this is not a pipeline. This is not a pipeline. This is a freestyle project. In a freestyle project also you can create everything step by step. For example, our first step was to bring the code stored in our repository to Jenkins workspace. This was step 1. Second step was to build the code. Okay, so we had this main step. Third step was to store it into Nexus. So this was our fourth step. Okay, so we can every step will have ask you for various parameters. Okay, then we can add another step. Other step would be SonarQube, let's say. Okay, so you can have this SonarQube step. Okay, execute SonarQube scanner. So here also you can give various things, all the parameters, etc. Okay, so when you trigger this job, all these things will run sequentially. This would be my freestyle project. This is not a pipeline as a code. Correct? Here also I will face the same issues. That the issue which I told you, the issue that I told you guys earlier, that anyone can edit these configurations. Okay, let's say multiple people are after a month. I'll not be able to track it. Like what are the I will at the end of this month I'll get to see only the latest one. Okay, the latest configuration that happened, that was there, that I'll be able to see. I'll not be able to see what was the JVM option they gave, what is the key and the values they give here. Okay, someone changed something, I'll not be able to see. Okay, so that is why we came to a requirement for pipeline as a code. So if I write everything, so it will be great, right? I can store that in my repository. Okay, and whoever wants to do any change in these configurations, he can modify that particular file. Okay, and yeah, and that particular file will be version controlled. Even after a month, if I want to check that how many people have modified this file and what are the changes they have done, I can easily check. Okay, I can easily check. If let's say after let's say I want to roll back the things to the changes that were 15 days earlier, so I can easily roll back. Okay, if I have everything as a pipeline, if I have everything as a pipeline as a code. Okay, got the requirement, right? You got the problem and the solution?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this was a freestyle project that we have seen till now. Today we will see pipeline. Okay, if I go to the new item, I'll see many things. So we studied freestyle project. There is something called a pipeline. Okay, there is something called a pipeline. I can create a pipeline job. I can call it Sunday pipeline, let's say. If I create a pipeline job, I click OK. I have the description. Okay, and then you will see I'll not have so many options that I used to have in freestyle project. I used to have so many options in freestyle project, right? But I do not have these options. I just have a section for description. Okay, a section for build trigger. Build trigger means what is triggering your pipeline. Okay, it can be triggered by webhook. Like whenever someone commits, your pipeline will get triggered. Or if you do not specify anything, then you have to manually run it, and then it will be get triggered. Okay, so you don't have anything. Now you have one option called pipeline. Okay, here you can write pipeline script. Here's the place where you write a pipeline code. Okay, if you want to write a code here, then you can write it here. But if you want to get that code from Git, let's say you have a file you have a Jenkins, like you have a pipeline, the code file in the Jenkins, you can specify the path of that file and it will fetch it. Okay, and it will execute whatever the code is written in that file. Okay, so there are two steps. There are two options you are having. Pipeline script is for writing the code here itself, and pipeline script from SCM is for getting the code which we have stored in GitHub. Okay, so it is giving you try a sample pipeline. Okay, we can go with the hello world pipeline. So see, this is how your pipeline looks. Okay, so this is your pipeline code. Pipeline code starts with pipeline. Okay, and then you have inside pipeline, you have agent. Agent means like if you have master slave concept in Jenkins. We have studied master slave concept, right? In that master slave, what used to happen? We configure various master nodes. We can for a master node we configure various slave nodes. Okay, and whatever task that comes to the Jenkins, master node will assign that task to any slave node. Okay. So that is what the agent is. Okay, and if you want to specify a particular agent, like let's say let's say inside a master you have 3 slaves. Okay, slave 1, slave 2, slave 3. Okay, and you want this particular pipeline to be executed by slave 2. Okay, then in the agent you can specify slave 2. Okay, if you specify any, it will by default taken by master. Okay, we do not have a master slave concept right now, so we specify any. Okay, then you have a concept of stages. Okay, inside pipeline you have agent, then you have stages. Inside stages you write all the stages. You write all this, like the stages that we discussed. Your git stage, then build stage, that is a maven stage, then nexus stage, then sonar cube stage. All these stages you can mention. Okay, so for now this is having just one stage. You have stages, and inside stages you have stage. Multiple stage you can have: stage hello, stage hi. Okay, so I can copy it. Let's say I can create a new stage after this stage of hello. I can say why, let's say. Here also I can write. Okay, so you can add multiple stages in your pipeline. Okay, now if I save it, it gave an error or what? I think I missed a bracket. Yeah, it's fine. Stage, this is stage bracket, and oh yes, I messed with the brackets, I guess. Wait, I'll use this again. And this is, okay, this is where I'll copy this. Okay, so I'm creating a new stage. If I save it, and if I run this, see, it is saying 2 stages. One stage is hello, other stage is bye. Okay, this stage completed in 44 milliseconds, and this stage completed in 55 milliseconds. Got it? Now, if you want to relate it to your project, then you can keep this stage as git stage. Okay, this stage as Maven stage. Okay, you can have as many stages you want. Okay, then it would be Nexus stage, let's say. Then you can have Sonar Cube. Okay, then you can have, let's say after everything happens, you do a deploy on somewhere. This is your deploy stage, let's say. So this is important because we'll see this multiple times in the coming sessions. Okay, and your main project that we'll be doing will be based on this only. So this is very common in industries. You will see pipelines very common. Okay, so if I do a save, okay, then again I do a build now. So now it will build and see it is executing all 4 stages, all 5 stages: git stage, Maven stage, Nexus stage, SonarQube stage, and deploy stage. Okay, and if you want to check the logs, you can click here and you can see the logs that the thing that you have echoed. Okay, so this is what you have echoed: git, Maven, Nexus. So this was just an example. This was giving just for showing you the flow of how a stage and pipeline looks like. Okay, and inside the code, so where we have just written echo, so there you can write what you actually want to do. Okay, what you actually want to do in git stage, what do you want to do? You will in git stage, you will provide the name of the repo and the credentials. Okay, and the command. Okay, all these things you will provide. In Maven, what you will provide? In Maven, you will provide the path of your home path of your Maven. Where is Maven located in your system? Okay, and then your goals, Maven goals. For example, clean package or clean install or clean deploy or whatever. Okay, so echo is just for printing right now. Okay, we'll see more complex thing where we'll see the whole pipeline being orchestrated. All the stages are being orchestrated with this pipeline. Okay, got it? Clear? This is clear?
Yes.
Questions? Any questions?
Not so far. So this pipeline syntax, we have to do it, right? Okay. Where do we learn the syntax?
Pipeline, you have to write the code. Syntax is easy, right? I did not write a code. See, I did not write any code. Correct. I saw a sample.
Yeah.
Okay. I just took that sample and I keep on adding the stages. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And what you have to do in that particular stage, then you can take help of this pipeline syntax.
Yeah.
For example, let's say git. For example, I don't know what to write in git step. Okay. I don't know how to fetch credentials. What are the syntax it is expecting? So what I'll do, I'll go to the pipeline syntax. Okay. Here I can, here you can see sample step. Okay, for us the sample step would be, so these are all the syntaxes that you can see. For example, git. In our case, it will be git, right? So you go to git. Here we can mention our repository. for example, let's say our repository was, let's say this. Okay, I'll copy it and I paste it here. Okay, branch. I want to, let's say I want to work on master branch only. Okay, then credentials. Credentials I've already created, so it is showing here. Credentials include in polling or include in changelog. Let's say I don't want that. Okay, then I can generate a pipeline script. So see, it is giving me the whole pipeline script. I can just copy this thing from here to, instead of echo grid, I can write this. That's it. That's it. It will check out the code. Got it? So here is where
Yeah.
you see all the syntax. So again, if I want to see, let's say, for any other thing you can check. For example, there are many things here. Like for everything you will see a syntax. Load file, Nexus artifact uploader. See, I want to upload an artifact in Nexus. You have Nexus artifact uploader, Nexus publisher, like execute in parallel. For example, you want to execute two things in parallel. Okay, so you can go to these steps. So you can have this step, parallel step. Okay. So see, this is a step, special step, no snippet generation available. See inline help for more information. Yeah, so it is giving you this, how to run a parallel step. You can write parallel first branch, then second branch. Like for example, whatever, like say for example, you want to, there is a situation in a code there where you want to execute two unit test stages together. Okay, so you will write parallel unit test stage 1. Okay, then you will execute, write a code to execute that unit test, let's say. Okay, then here you can write unit test 2. Okay, and then you can execute that. So both the unit tests will execute in parallel. Okay, so you will get this code. Like if you Google it, like you codes and everything, you can get it. No need to worry about, uh, like as a DevOps engineer, you don't have to worry about what to write. There are so many snippets and so many things available on Google and so many things on GitHub, that you don't need to worry about it. Okay, you can always refer to those steps and do it, because this is very simple. This is not difficult coding like Java and Python. No man, there are no data structures and those things. It's a very straightforward, right? See how straightforward is it? You just mention the stages and just mention the step. That's it. Got it, right? So for Sonar Cube, let's say I want to see something. Sonar. There is Sonar Cube. Yeah, this with Sonar Cube environment. Okay, with Sonar Cube, you can check this, and then here you can specify uh, inject environment variables related to chosen Sonar Cube. The server authentication token. Here you can specify your token. For example, I created, let's say, we'll go to it how we created the token and everything. Okay, then we can just create a pipeline script. So this is how it is created. It will you to just copy this thing in your Sonar Cube step. That's it. Where in the Sonar Cube step? Yeah, instead of this, I can write this. That's it. Okay, and I can run like whatever I want. Like yesterday, the code which I was running, right? It was MVN, sonar, whatever it was. So you can write it and ISonarQ will be executed. Clear? Similarly for Nexus, if I want to write, where was Nexus we saw, right? So you have all the syntax here, all the syntax, even the echo, even the simple echo syntax you have it. See, what do you want to echo? Let's say I want to go hello. So I just didn't see this syntax. So even for a simple syntax, you will see it. For example, if you want to print a message, okay, echoes for printing a message. Okay, let's say if you want to check if the file is existing or not in the workspace, okay, then you can just verify put the file path in the workspace. For example, a file can be in let's say it's a path of workspace. Okay, so it says both Unix and the Windows paths are supported using this. Yeah, so you can put it like this, both Unix and so for in our case, let's say we can put if the file exists in user bin whatever xyz whatever path, so it will generate the script. Okay, file exists, you can write this, you can just copy this. This will check if file is existing or not. Okay, so for everything you will have a sample space. Then waiting for interactive input. Let's say you want input from the user. Okay, you can send a message, please enter the value. Okay, then you can generate a pipeline. So you can type it like this: input, please enter volume, please enter value. So you don't have to remember everything. The idea is that you will see all these in the pipeline syntax. Okay, got it?
Okay, yeah. So, but we are going to do one, right, today? For
What?
Are we going to do one today?
Yes. We'll do
Okay.
a demo. We'll do a proper demo of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what the pipeline is. Got it? So there are two types of pipeline. Okay. One is declarative pipeline. One is scripting pipeline. Okay. So this is a example of declarative pipeline. The one starts with pipeline. Okay. Declarative pipeline starts with a pipeline. This is a theory part. There are two types of pipeline: declarative pipeline and scriptive pipeline. Okay. Declarative pipeline is one we just saw. This has pipeline, those things. And you have something called scripting pipeline. Okay, scripting pipeline starts with node. Okay, that there you specify that uh, in some projects you might see scripts also being used, but that is requires some groovy understanding, knowledge of groovy language. Okay, so that is why people are not using a lot of scripting pipeline these days. Okay, but if you want to have an idea, you can go and look at it. So it would look a bit similar. So here is all the details in the Jenkins documentation. Only you can find all the information about these pipelines. Okay, so see, it is yeah. So this was declarative pipeline where we saw. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So this was declarative pipeline that we just saw. That starts with pipeline. Then you have agent. Okay, to revise it, you can go through this documentation.
Okay.
Everyone copies from here only, from this documentation only. Okay, so we have everything defined very clearly. What is line 1, what is line 2, what is line 3, what is line 4, line 5. Here everything is defined. Okay, you have these stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, build, test, and deploy. Okay, you have an agent. Okay, then this was declarative. Okay, then you have scripted pipeline that I was talking about. Scripted pipeline is similar, but it is also a pipeline, obviously, but it starts with a node. Okay. So we will see this declarative pipeline in our case. Because most in companies also you will mostly see declarative pipelines only. Here you should have some knowledge of Groovy to write the code. Declarative pipelines are more user friendly, you can say. Anyone can write a declarative pipeline. You saw the syntax are so easy. It's very clear. Syntax are very easy for declarative pipelines. So see, this is the example they are given. Yeah, similar. We did an echo, so they are doing sh. Okay, so I mean, in under steps, you can execute any of the shell command. Okay, sh or junit or whatever you want to execute. For example, they're executing a junit step. In this case, they are using a junit. They are doing a sh, and they are executing a junit step. So this is the command that they have used. Okay, and if you want to go into more detail, you can write some codes as well, declarative syntax and everything you will see here. Okay, there are some details. These are advanced topics. Like it will check all the parameters and everything. Node, Docker we'll see. So we'll see most of the things we'll see when we are studying Docker and Kubernetes and those things also. We will do it via pipeline only. Okay, so there we will see many things. Okay, all these things we'll see. You don't worry about it. Kubernetes, Docker we'll study. We have in the coming sessions we'll have these things. Okay, so everything we'll integrate with pipeline only. So that's why I said that this session is going to be important, because this was the overview of what the pipeline is. Got it clear? This clear, right? Why we use a pipeline,
Yes.
what is declarative pipeline, an idea of a syntax. Okay, now let's integrate the things that we have studied so far in this pipeline. I'll discard it first. Okay, so yeah, so for all the tools that we have studied so far, to integrate it with Jenkins, we will have to install plugins. Correct? Because how will the Jenkins know that what are the configuration needed for this particular tool? It will not know, right? So that's why we have plugins that we saw earlier. We have seen earlier some plugins. For user credentials, we saw one plugin. Okay, for all these things, we have already seen some plugins. Okay, so for integrating with it, with Nexus, integrating with SonarQube, integrating with this, what do you say, Maven. So for all these things, for integrating Maven, for Git, we'll have all these plugins. Okay. So when we were installing Jenkins, we got a step, right, which asked us to give a permission to install all the default pipelines with most of the people with the common plugins which were required. So it already installed some Git plugins or those things. It installed by default. Okay, but SonarQube, Nexus, and all these plugins we have to do manually. Okay, so I have already installed it, but you will see. Yeah, if you go into the installed section, you will see all the plugins that you have installed. Okay, so if I want to, so the first plugin, let's in okay, let's do configuration about Git. No, wait. Let's integrate SonarQube. Okay, let's integrate SonarQube first. Okay, so for SonarQube, you have two plugins. Just type Sonar here; it will show everything. SONAR. It is showing me these quality gates plugin for now. Okay, because those two plugins, the two plugins required, I have already downloaded. Okay, I can see that I'm in installed section. If you see Sonar, yeah, so one plugin, Sonar Scanner for Jenkins. Okay, so this is the plugin you want to type, Sonar Scanner for Jenkins. Okay, I'll write this step for you guys as well. Or rather install plugin. Okay, so this is what you have to do first. Okay, so you will see this particular plugin. You can search this name here and available in Sonar. Here, then you will just install it. You can select that plugin and do install without a restart. Okay, after you install this plugin, what you have to do? You have to go to manage Jenkins again. Okay, then in manage Jenkins, you have to configure the SonarCube environment. Correct. We have just downloaded the SonarCube plugin. We have still not told Jenkins that where does our SonarCube live? Like what is the server? What is our SonarCube server? And for your reference, Shah, yesterday we created another server for SonarCube. You will, if you go through the yesterday's session recording, you will see that. So earlier, what we did, we installed Nexus, Jenkins, Maven, everything in our single EC2 instance. Okay, this was our EC2 instance where we installed everything. Okay. You can install all the things individually as well. You can have a separate server for Jenkins. You can have a separate server for Maven. You can have separate server for Nexus. Okay, but we have installed all the things in the same server. Okay, but SonarQube, we installed it in a separate server. Okay, you can go through yesterday's video. It has all the details, all the installation steps and everything. Okay, so your Jenkins is in this server, but your SonarQube is in this server. So Jenkins needs to know the address of this, correct? So you have to configure it. You have installed this SonarQube plugin here. So in that plugin configuration, you have to tell that where is my SonarQube server. Okay, so I'll go to configure system. In configure system, I'll search for Sonar servers. Okay, Sonar servers. I'll write it as well here. Go to configure system. Then SonarCube servers. In SonarCube servers section, you have to mention the details of your SonarCube. Name can be anything. Okay, name can be anything, whatever you want. My SonarCube server or XYZ server, whatever you want. You just need to mention, create. It's a placeholder. It's a reference. Let's say it's a reference to this URL. Okay, and then here you have to configure the URL. Okay, here you have to configure the URL of your server. What is the URL of the server? 5224 whatever 82 port 9000. Okay, this is what you have to configure. 522 9000. This is what you have to configure, and then you have to create a token. You have to create a token. How will you create a token? You have to create a credential. I've told you earlier how to create a credential. Okay, you can create it from here as well. You can just add, and so it will show you. But if you want to create a credentials from outside, what you will do? Let's go to our dashboard again. Okay, here you have manage credentials. Okay, you see manage credentials. You go to manage credentials, stores scoped to Jenkins. Okay, click on this. Okay, then global credentials. Okay, here you have to add a credential. Okay, and here you can add a credential of what kind? For SonarQube, we saw that yesterday, right? It was a token that we used to get. Correct? It was a token that we used to get. You will see the recording for yesterday, you will get to know. So we generated a token. So we went to administration, security, users. So by default, we have administrator user, that is our admin user. Okay, and it had a token. Okay, so you can generate the token only once. Okay, for example, how you generate a token? You can call it hello token, let's say. I'm just telling you how to generate it. You can go to hello, you can type the token, the name of the token, anything it can be. Okay, and you just going to generate. Okay, it will show you token. This is my token. Okay, and you have to copy it and save it somewhere because it says that hello token has been created. Make sure you copy it now. You won't be able to see it again. Okay, so you have to copy it and save it. Okay, so and you have to copy this token. You have to copy this token and put it here on Jenkins in your credentials that you are creating. Okay, so in kind, you have multiple things you can select. You can do a GitHub app, SSH, username, private key, but for us, it will be a secret file, secret text, because it's a token, right? Token is a secret text. So you can put it as a secret text here. Okay, scope, you can keep it global. Okay, secret means your token, the token that you have copied from there. Okay, and the ID can be whatever ID you want to keep it. My Sonar credentials or whatever. So if you create it, your token will get your credential will get created. Okay, and you will see that credential in the drop down here. Okay, similar to I am seeing two tokens, right? Sonar cred and Sonar token. So whatever token you want to select it. Okay, and just save it. Got it? Clear? Clear, Shah? Prakash?
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just taking the screenshot and pasting it there. Perfect. Hmm. Snippet. Any doubts till now? Go to configure system. No, before that, let's go to create credentials. I put create Sonar you credential. Okay, then you have to go to configure system in SonarQube server sections, add the URL and name. Okay, like similar to this screenshot, you can refer to it. Okay. Okay, so this will configure your SonarQube environment. Okay, so whenever you are going to refer to this environment, you have to just put the name. You have to just put this name, and it will automatically get to know that okay, my SonarQube is installed here, and this is how I log into my SonarQube. That's it, and it will do the job. You don't have to do anything. Okay, got it? Okay, so this was for SonarQube. Next, you can do it for Nexus as well. Yes, one more configuration for SonarQube we have to do. This is a change we have done in configure systems. Okay, and in Sonar tool configuration, you have to also do one thing in global tool configuration. In global tool configuration, you have to do here. If you see SonarQube scanner, okay, you see SonarQube scanner. So here also you have to do this configuration. Here just do this configuration so that this for referring just creating a tool configuration for SonarQube. Okay, so I'm creating a screenshot as well for this. I'll do a print screen for this. This will everything will come. Or I do a screenshot, let's say. So these are the important configuration that you have to do for connecting your Jenkins with SonarQube. Okay, you can see the path here: dashboard, Maven Jenkins, global tool configuration. Inside that, SonarQube scanner. Okay. Then what else? One more configuration. One more configuration at SonarQube level. Now at the SonarQube level, you have to add one webhook. You added a webhook in Jenkins, in GitHub, right? So that whatever is happening on your GitHub, your Jenkins will know. Whenever user does a commit, your Jenkins will get activated. Your Jenkins build will get activated. So that for that you created a webhook. So similar to here, we'll create a webhook. Okay, we'll go to configurations, webhooks. Okay, and then you have to just create a webhook. Go to create, and here you can specify Jenkins webhook. Let's say I've already created, so I'll create again. Let's say Jenkins webhook. Okay, and the URL. And the URL you have to give this HTTP Jenkins 8080 SonarQube webhook. This has to be constant. Okay, HTTP Jenkins 8080. So these are all the configurations that you can see on Google as well, like how to configure SonarQube with Jenkins and those things. So you will everywhere you will see these steps. So mostly these steps in your project will be already done, but let's say if you want to set up everything from scratch, so you don't have to remember it. It's not like that you have to remember it. Anyone in interview will ask you that how to configure this, how to configure this. This everyone knows that no one will remember all these steps. So these steps you just get it from Google or any SonarQube documentation or standard documentation. Because the thing is, there are hundreds of tools, and no one in the world can remember all the configurations for all the hundreds of tools. Correct. So this is what you want to do. There's a name and the URL. Okay, and the URL should be the same. Okay, so this will set up webhook, and what will webhook will do? It will notify. So it says webhooks are used to notify external services when a project analysis is done. Okay, so what happens? Your Jenkins will trigger SonarQube step. Correct. SonarQube step will be triggered from Jenkins, and all the code quality and everything will be done by SonarQube. And once the code quality and everything will be finished through this webhooks, your Jenkins will be notified that okay, the analysis is done. Okay, got it? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what you have to do in SonarQube console. Okay. Now what? So this was about in global tool configuration. This was about SonarQube. Similarly, other tools that we have, for example, Git. You can do this for Git. Like this is not mandatory. Okay, leave it. This is not mandatory. If you want, you can do it. If you don't want, you can leave it. Okay, for example, the YouTube by default it will be Git for you, but not an issue. Leave it. It will not. It's a optional thing. By default, also it's Git, and if you specify /bin/git/git, even then it is fine. Okay. Then here also I'm not touched anything. Okay. That is it basically. That is it basically. So Maven also you can configure. So these are global tool configurations and nothing. These are specifying the path. Okay, these are specifying the path of your all those tools.
So I just have like, so whatever we saying here, are these plugins getting installed in the Jenkins servers?
What? No, on
Are they
Jenkins
getting
server we have. Yes. Yeah, these are configurations related to the tool. Okay, these are configurations related to the tool. So yes, when whatever you are specifying here, that will get downloaded to your server as well.
Okay.
So here, in our case, what we have SonarQube, we have already done the configuration, right? SonarQube we have already installed in our other server. In our this particular server, we already have SonarQube installed. So if we have already specified there, so you can leave it. SonarQube scanner step, you can leave it. Okay, this is optional. You can provide it or not, depends.
Okay, yeah. So if that was the confusion I had. So if we already install it in a separate virtual machine, I mean, we don't need it, right?
Yes. In that case, you have to specify there in your
We just have
your
to
configure system.
Okay.
In configure
Got it.
system, there you have to specify all those things then.
Okay.
But you have to tell it somewhere that
Yeah,
where is it.
we have to
Correct. You
find
have
it.
to tell
Yeah.
those things. So for Jenkins, it is by default taking the name of the place where it is. It is
And
in.
then, so we have to provide the token as well, right? To access programmatically.
Your voice is breaking.
I
What do
said
you say?
we need to provide the token as well, right? When we configure the system.
Yes, right. So for everything you have to configure. That's why credentials.
Yes. Okay.
Credentials. That's what your credentials are. See, for everything you have these. You have for Git as well. Sonar and Access also.
Okay. So
You have it
in
here.
this demo, are we
Shell.
downloading anything, or are we using the already installed plugins? I mean, like the
Your voice is
servers.
breaking. Is it for me or hello? I see your voice breaking. Can you come again?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
are we trying to are we using the existing system, or are we downloading? So we are using. That.
I cannot hear you properly. Can you hear me? Am I audible to you guys?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Yeah. Who was asking the question? It was Shah, right? Or Prakash?
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay.
Your voice is breaking again. Wait, let me switch to a different Wi-Fi. I don't think so. There's a network issue. Can you come again? What did you say? Okay, chat. Okay. So yeah, these are the places where you have to configure. You have to tell your like these these things you will not see without installing the plugin. Okay, these things we are seeing, this Sonar Cube servers and all those Nexus things that we are seeing, these we are seeing only after we have installed those plugins. Okay, so that is why plugins are needed. Okay, so now plugin needs a way to communicate to the server where these things are there, right? So that is why we specify here that Sonar Cube is our server, and it is the server URL is like this is the name of logical name that you can refer it in your code in your pipeline, and this will be pointed to this URL. Okay, and using these credentials. Okay, similar to everything, similar to Git, similar to XYZ, anything. So for now, we already have these things in our same installed in our same system. So it is taking everything by default. Okay. So yeah, coming to yeah, let's do a demo now. Hide floating meeting. Okay. So what we will do is we will create a pipeline. I'll give you the link of the repository where you have to copy it. So this is my repository. Okay, so this code we have already seen earlier. Okay, Nexus Maven samples, we already saw this code. So again, you can use it, or even for other things, you can use. If you want any other repo, you can configure it always. Okay, so for our reference, we will use this pipeline, and this is having everything. This is our code, and it is having inside source. You have a main, you have a uh, test folder, and then Java. This is a folder structure for test. Then you have inside the main you have for the code demo action demo application.java. Okay, so this is a code structure, and you don't have to worry about what is in it because coding is done by a development team. You don't have to worry about it. You only have to worry about the pom.xml. Okay, pom.xml. I'll show you what the pom.xml here is. Pom.xml is having these files, these things. So for if I say for yeah, this is pretty basic pond example. We have already seen this pond example earlier. Okay, and settings.xml, ignore it. We will not be using this settings.xml. We already have settings.xml inside our .m2 folder. Okay, you don't have to worry about these settings.xml. Okay, so let's write a pipeline code to do all these things. So as I told you, there can be two ways to write a pipeline code. Either we write everything as a script. Okay, either we write everything like a script like this. Dashboard. what did we write? We created this Sunday project, right? Sunday pipeline. So I told you there can be two ways. They can, one way can be writing everything here. Writing your full code here only as a script. Okay, writing your full code here only. Other way can be pipeline script from source code management. Okay, that your pipeline, that your code is present in the source code management, and you are just specifying the path. You're just specifying the path. You specify that, okay, this is my Git repository. Okay, this is my credentials of Git repository. Okay, and my code is placed in the Jenkins file. So Jenkins file is a name, standard name given to any file that contains the Jenkins pipeline code. Okay, so for in our case, we will go with this procedure only, because mostly you will see this in your projects, in your company. You will see mostly this, that they have created a script and they have stored it in GitHub. Okay, and they have in this pipeline job, in this pipeline task, they are just referring to that particular file which contains all the script. Okay, so this is by default Jenkins file. Okay, so here also we have this, we have demo, we have source, then we have a Jenkins file. Okay, so if you go to the Jenkins file, so this is how our Jenkins file will look. It will start with a pipeline. Okay, then agent I'll put any. Okay, then environment, it contains all the environment variables. Okay, so for in our case, path will be our environment variable. Okay, and the path will contain path to Maven. Okay, path will contain the path to Maven, and this path is related to is actually the path in my how did I get this path? I went to my EC2 instance where my Maven is installed. Oh, what a minute. Wait, I have to restart. EC2 hyphen user. Let me log into this. Okay. So as a root user. So yeah, if I do mvn hyphen version, so I'll see this path. This is my Maven home. User, share, Maven, Apache Maven. Okay, so this is my path. Do cd. If I go to this path, okay, I have bin. So this is a path which you have to mention. Okay, pwd. User, share, Apache, Maven, bin. Okay, so this is the path that I had put in my Jenkins file. Sorry. User, share, Apache, Maven, bin. This is a path of my Maven. Okay, so if you write any Maven command after that, so it will run it from here only. It will recognize. Okay, then my first stage is get code, means git stage. Okay, and here it is having this step. I generated this step from generate syntax thing that we saw. Okay, so this is having credential ID. This contains a credential ID and contains the path to the GitHub URL, GitHub repo link. Okay, this is my first stage. Second step is building. In build, what we are doing for running any command, you have to just specify sh. Okay, this is how you run any command here. Just specify sh, and inside that, just put anything in single quote, it will run. Okay, we do a mvn clean package. We are doing it. Okay, this is our second stage. Our third stage is SonarQube analysis. So in SonarQube analysis, I also generated this step. You remember it? With SonarQube environment, and this is the name of my environment. Means environment is the Jenkins in the SonarQube environment that I created in global tool configuration. No, in configure system was what I created. The same name. This is the same name which I gave. Okay, this is the same name I gave. So it says with SonarQube environment and with this, and this already has my credentials, so I don't have to specify any credentials here. Okay, and what is the command? Command is mvn sonar. We saw that this command yesterday. So using this mvn sonar command, your code analysis is done. Okay. Next we have a quality gate stage. Uh, let's remove it because we have to add some pipelines and stuff, some plugins to fetch this. So I'll delete this stage for now. Okay, I will go with just basic 4-5 stages. Okay, we'll see in detail all these things when we are studying Docker and Kubernetes. Then it will be complete, like starting from that will contain everything CI/CD. That will be a full complete flow. Okay, so I'm deleting this quality gate thing for now. But you can add multiple stages, like you can add a number of stages, whatever stages you want. Then after stages section, okay, this is my stages. This contains all my stages. Okay, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now I have something called post. Okay, post is executed after your stages are complete, as the name says, right? Post you can put. So there might be various things that you want to do after the pipeline is getting completed. Correct. You want to send a mail to someone, or you want to notify a group of people that your pipeline is completed, or you want to print a message, let's say that pipeline executed successfully. So you write those things in post. So post will be executed after all your stages are complete. Okay, and there are two variations in the post. There are three things in the post: always, success, and failure. Whatever you write in always will get executed always, irrespective of whether your stages are complete or not. Okay, you say the pipeline is successful if all the stages are successful. Okay, this is what the pipeline is, right? Like in the pipeline that we discussed, like the manufacturing of car. Okay, let's say if the stage that was creating engines, if there is some issue at that step, if that step is failing, so your car will not get complete, right? Because every step, in pipeline, every stage is important. So we'll say a pipeline is completed only after all our stages are successful. Okay, and in post we have always. So in always you can specify the task that will always run, irrespective of whether your pipeline is failing or passing or whatever. Okay, you have a success section where you specify things what you want to do only if the pipeline is success. Okay, so success will get executed only when your pipeline is successful. Similarly, you have failure. Failure will get executed when your pipeline is failed. Okay, so let's say if your pipeline is failed, let's say if it fails on build stage, let's say. So what will get printed? Always, what you write in always will get executed, and what you write in failure will get executed. Okay, let's say if your pipeline is successful, then what will get executed? The thing that you write in always will get executed, and what you write in success will get executed. Okay, got it? Clear?
Yes.
So we have this Jenkins file. This is our Jenkins file.
Okay.
Any doubts in this?
No.
Okay. So now what we will do is, oh, let me commit it. Not committed it. Commit it. Okay. So now I will just create a pipeline. Okay, let's create a pipeline now. I'll go to new item. I'll call it, let's say, final pipeline. Final Sunday pipeline, just to say that. Okay, here I'll do a pipeline. Okay, and then I can write a description or whatever, it's optional. Okay, I'll not select anything in this part. Build triggers, I'll not select it. I'll do it manually. Okay, advanced options is nothing, it's just a display name, so it's optional. Okay, then pipeline. In the pipeline, what I'll do, I'll not write the code here. I could have done this thing. I could have done this thing as well. I could have just copied this code and pasted it here. Okay, this should also work. The same code. Okay, this should also work. But again, this will not be version controlled. Correct. Anyone changes anything here, we'll not get to know what things have been changed. So for the sake of that, I'll just do a pipeline script from SCM. Okay, and I'll specify SCM. What is my source code management? I'm using Git. Okay, script path. I have to give the repository URL. What is my repository URL? It is this. Just copy it. Okay, credentials I've already stored, so I just refer them. Branch master, let's say. Okay, repo browser not needed, and script path is Jenkins file. Okay, so this name should match with this name. Okay, because this is being referred now. Okay, so I do a save. Okay, now I'll run it. So see what it is doing. It is doing declarative checkout SCM. It is checking out the code. Then it is like doing all the steps, building the code. Then you have Sonar queue analysis done. Then we have declarative post actions that we specified. So it got completed. So it's green now. If I want to check the logs, I can see what is happening. So see, it checked out the code. You see, it is doing fetching upstream changes, and here it is checking out the code. Okay, git fetch. It is doing fetch. Okay, then you have here Maven step. Here it is building all the code. Sorry, it is downloading all the snapshot and downloading all the dependencies and building everything. See, it is then you have tests which you specified, the unit test. Then this run. This is the Maven part. This is the Maven part which you already seen. And after that, it builds a jar. Okay, demo 2.0 snapshot jar is built. This is the Maven step only. Okay, so after that, what is our step? You can see a stage. Then this Sonar cube analysis stage. Sorry, this is Sonar cube analysis stage. Okay. Now in this stage, you see all the Sonar cube analysis is being done. Load matrices, build success. So it says build success. So after this means my pipeline is successful. So what I wrote in always got executed, and what I wrote in pipeline in failure, it got executed. In success, it got executed. And what I wrote in failure in the post, it did not get executed because my pipeline is successful. Got it? Again, if I want to check, so it says that analysis successful. You can browse this. Okay, it says that to check the analysis, I can go to this. So let's go to this and see. So it is giving you the whole analysis of your code. Okay, for your code, it is giving you complete analysis. There were no bugs. Okay, everything was fine in this code. Okay, if you see code smell. So code smell, in code smell, we see what are the some factors that we have done. So in code smell, it is showing at least one assertion to this test case. Add at least one assertion to this test case. So it is showing you as a code smell. Okay, so we discussed this yesterday, the code smell and everything. So if you want to more analyze it more, you can see for it is saying that okay, for this test case which you have written, at least give something to this. At least write some code inside this method. Okay, so it is giving you a red flag here. Okay, got it? Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Pipeline is clear, right?
Yeah.
So this is how we write a pipeline. So mostly we will write declarative pipelines in our companies. Okay, and you can have a number of steps here. It's not like that you can have just 3 steps that we have mentioned. You can have a step that uploads the thing to the Nexus. Okay, you can add a step which does unit test, forms any unit test. Like you can have 2-3 stages that you want to run in parallel. Okay, then you can create a step for parallel stage that we saw. Okay, and then for deployment also you can have steps. We'll see that later in our Docker. In that case, when we're using Docker and everything, we'll build the codes using Docker and we'll deploy it in Kubernetes cluster. Okay, that so we'll have separate stages for that. Okay, so all these things will run one by one. Okay, got it? Clear, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you can practice this. Okay, so for your reference, I'm just adding the path of this repo in this document so that you can, if you want to clone, you can clone this repo. Or you can do this with any repo. It's not like this only. Okay, you can do this with any repo.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think first we will use this repos, so that we don't.
Yeah, first use this
The
repo.
first time we don't get any issues.
Yeah, later on in the sessions, we are already going to cover Docker and these things. So we'll create multiple pipelines. Don't worry. So there you will get more idea on these things. Okay. So for understanding is clear, right? For
Yeah.
what the concept, basically the concept.
Yeah.
Because this is not the code you will see everywhere. Everywhere you will see a different code. But what is the thing you should be clear about are the concepts. What is the concept of a pipeline? What are stages? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll mail this command as well. Okay, then let's connect next week. So we'll start another tool next week. Let's say we start, I guess Ansible is the next topic. Okay, we'll study Ansible, then Docker, then Kubernetes, then any, okay, there are many things still pending. Okay. Okay, we'll start with Ansible next week. Okay, so Jenkins is almost complete. There are some small topics related to plugins. Like there can be a plugin for taking a backup of your Jenkins. For example, in an organization, you want that your some disaster recovery thing, right? Like say you want to make sure that if your Jenkins crashes, you already have a backup of everything, all the jobs and all the configurations and everything. So there is a plugin, there is a backup plugin, so you can use that. There is a plugin to check the analysis of what are the builds that have run in the past 10 days, 14 days, and whatever. We have plugins for that. We have small plugins, and the concept behind that will be the same. You have to do the same thing in every case. you have to just go here in this manage plugin section. Okay, in manage Jenkins, in manage plugins, where is manage plugins, and you just have to search the name of that plugin and just install it. That's it. You have tons of plugins available here, many plugins available here. Okay, you can, and every plugin will do something or other there. Okay, in available section you have to check. Okay, so just install that plugin and just you will already have all those the documentation related to the plugin, how to use that plugin, how to configure that plugins with Jenkins. So the concept and everything will be same behind it. Okay. Okay, then let's connect on next Saturday. Okay.
Thank you.
So you guys can practice these things and also revise the previous topics.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye. Bye.